Well, we got out this morning at 6:15. I got up at 4:44, and I was like, man, why am I up so early? But I felt pretty good. I don't know why. Yesterday was a ridiculously tough day of climbing. I ate a big dinner. Well, I always eat a big dinner. Dinner consists of, so I do a wrap, and I like to only carry 8 to 12 ounces worth of wraps. So you can buy tortillas, and they come in a 23 ounce package. I buy 8 to 11 ounces, which gives me about 6 wraps over 4 days. So for dinner right now, the best priced wrap were wheat wraps, which are really good. They were the cheapest. It's not only about being cheap, it's about having the right nutrient mix as well. They probably have 5 grams of protein a wrap, 200 plus calories, wheat, so there's some fiber in there somewhere. Climbing up Kinsman right now. It's an 800-foot initial climb. We're shooting for 18 miles today, or 17. It might be 17. We went an extra mile last night, which was smart, because coming down, as you saw in yesterday's video, coming down Moosalak, or Moosalakia, whatever they call it, that was a really steep downhill and really tricky, wet, and we just were thinking it was supposed to rain last night, but there was a good chance of showers. I had a date. It showered north of us about 5 miles for 20 miles, so there's a big old 20-mile section of trail that got hit with rain yesterday, just north of us, but it didn't rain. So anyway, back to the food. I carry a pepperoni stick. This time it's boar's head. And then I carry also a big, maybe like, I think this time around it was a 12 ounce stick of hard salami. And hard salami and pepperoni, man, they're just packed full of fat. So, and then I also carry an 8 ounce block of sharp cheese, sharp cheddar. And if you know me, I don't really care if those things break down or start getting weird smells to them. I do keep them really well sealed up. The salami, if you buy real salami, it's wrapped in penicillin, which is awesome. I don't know if that's good, but I figure that's my antibiotic that I'm taking while on trail. There's all kinds of weird antibiotics out here, but that's the one that I'm subscribing to right now. So I cut those things up. I had a pack of tuna, cheese, maybe an ounce of sriracha, 5 mayonnaise, which I haven't had for a few days because no one's had it. I had some mayo, and I honestly feel like I eat better on trail, like I get more nutrition and nutrients than I do when I'm in town. So when I go to town, I try to back it up, eat a lot of protein as well. But that dinner, it's like 60 grams of protein over dinner. And you start out and you do a 800-foot climb in the morning, and you feel pretty good. And I feel pretty good when I sleep, and I wake up early. Doesn't always work. It's not always the perfect mix of nutrition, but since I stopped cooking maybe I can't remember if it was halfway through Pennsylvania or New York. It just started getting too hot at night to cook. You eat like a hot meal and then you sweat really hard when you go to bed. So that's what I do when I eat too hot at night. Anyway, big day. Back in the whites, day 2 of the big whites. They are awesome. Everyone said they would be, and I just got tired of hearing everyone talking about the whites. So I'm going to stop talking about them right now, and we'll shoot some more of them. Well, day 2 in my Sportiva Akashas, and they are amazing. I feel like my birthday came early this year. Remember, I started the trail with the Sportiva Bushido, which is an insanely fun shoe if you're a trail runner. But these things, these have a little bit more padding. People said you could run 100 miles in them. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I'm not going to take away from people who said that they've done that. A couple nice things that they've got this nice toe guard. Salomon also has that, but this gusseting, so they're super airy, like they really breathe well, and then they've got this like really nice welded rubber. So if you're cruising along and you come up to like a rock wall and there's a crack in it, you can just stick your foot right in that crack and go right over the wall. I mean, you gotta remember, La Sportiva, they make climbing shoes. I don't know if you saw that movie with Alex Honnold, but if I recall, he's wearing La Sportivas. But yeah, these things are like super fun. You know, and that's something I forgot about, is like you're out here on your feet, and if you have a shoe company that makes walking like a really insanely good time, it just makes the experience better. And the Salomon's not such an inspiring shoe. Definitely, they don't make the trail fun. It's a shoe that you can have a little bit of confidence in. The grip on the bottom though is a lot more slick. The rubber that they use, you know, each type of rubber like will grip on different kinds of wet rocks, and you learn that per shoe that you're on. But like, you know, like this rock right here, like nothing grips on this. You know, these things hold pretty well. I don't know. There's something in here where they won't grip. I'm not stepping on everything, but yeah. I just kind of recall back to the first time I put on my Bushidos when I lived in Colorado. I went from trail running like a couple times a week just to get some exercise to trail running because it was insanely fun. And that's what these shoes are doing right now to this trail. There's so much confidence in them. Like on the last pair of shoes I had, the Topos, like your toes were always, and you see it with the Ultras too, your toes are always something that you have to be conscientious of. Whereas this shoe, you can just kick right through. You know, you can get your toe stuck on something and you're not hurting. I mean, you can kick really hard. You're not hurting your toe when you're walking through something. And it also saves the sole from peeling out like you see so often. I mean, these do look like I could peel the sole out on them, but I'm not trying to. But man, yeah, I just started realizing I was kicking through a lot of like really strange like chop and dirt and mud and stuff on the side of the trail. And they just kind of work their way right through that crap. And so a little bit of complacency there saves you some energy. Even though I'm not like, you can see I'm not like tripping over everything, but every now and then you stub your toe, and man, you really pay for it if you're wearing the wrong shoe. So yeah, a lot of grip with these. I can get up at a steeper angle up on the sidewalls, like running up a rock, like that rock right there, running up over the side of it. my last shoe would dump you if you got, and what I mean by dump you, if you got too high of an angle on the shoe, you see how my foot flexes into the side? It would actually just kick the shoe right over, so that your ankle would roll out. I haven't had that problem with these. I'm not wearing these super tight right now. This I should slip on, and I'm gonna hold on to something here and just see. And see, they hold on pretty good. Like, I'm not slipping on that. But my last pair of shoes, even when they had great tread, they would have slipped on that. Same thing with the Salomons. The Salomons, I think it's Vibram or whatever they're using. Not really the stickiest compound for rocks. And Sportiva does a good job of having a compound that's sticky, but also goes a long way. Like when I ended up sending home the Bushido, the tread on them, even though I did only 250 miles in them, the tread still looked brand new. There's very little wear, and they've got these really interesting, let me show you these lugs really quick. They've got these really interesting, I can't even see them because they're covered in mud. They've got these really interesting little small lugs. But what ended up happening on the Bushido is that on the back of my left ankle, my left heel, let's see if you can see that, on the left side here, like right about here, I developed a huge blister. And it was from going uphill too aggressively, and I was just really powering through the shoe. So I could feel that a little bit on this shoe too. I definitely had the problem in the Salomons where I don't know if you remember, but somewhere in Virginia I had to cut the back of the Salomon out and just expose the plastic in the heel cup. I'm not sure. Yeah, see, like this normally right here would be scary, especially since it's wet. But now these things are pretty nice and grippy. But yeah, I had to expose the plastic heel cup so that my ankle and the sock would just slide on it instead of just cutting a hole in my heel. And so what I've done with these is on my uphills, when I'm really aggressive, I just loosen the shoe up just a hair, and that's where they are right now. They're actually set for extreme uphill. But we're not hiking fast because we're in the whites, so there's no need to have a super tight shoe. I would say that right now they're like a medium tightness, and I'm not someone who's a proponent of having loose shoes, because first of all, I think it changes the structure of the shoe over time to where the shoe becomes a little bit more sloppy, just because your foot's moving around and stretching it out in all kinds of ways that you don't need to. But medium tight, it's just handy for, having a nice comfortable ride for a long time. And then tight if you're really just trying to speed through some miles and have a really fast foot turnover and, really do some long-legged strides and all that stuff. Yeah, get them really tight, because stuff like this, it just becomes crazy when you're doing it constantly. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna get back to it. See, and this is right here is probably the pace that I've been rolling in these. Just a nice, clean, easy pace. This is a little tricky here. See, there you go. There's that rock wedge that on my other shoes you'd have to be careful of because they want to tear on the sides. These shoes, not so much. All right, enough of my talking about shoes, which I love to do. So sometimes power lines give you spectacular views. And this is just a great example of that. There it is, your non-assuming, ugly industrial power line, but it opens up this crazy rock face over here. I mean, it's just amazing. And then you get this. It's kind of like hilarious. Just monster, spectacular views. Hey, just hiking northbound, going up over Kinsman today. It's a 2,000 foot climb. I think we just did Wolf Mountain, which was a brutal 800 foot climb. We only were able to do about a mile an hour up and over, which is, I don't know if you know, but that's slow. We in regular trail, we average, and I'm not talking about PCT trail, because apparently you can even average better than this, but on like regular good trail, we average like 2.25 to 2.5 miles per hour. That's kind of like your average AT trail. North Carolina, I think we're down to like 2, maybe a little less than that in a lot of places, but here we're almost down to 1. And it's just really nice, rugged, new trail constantly. Just like unbelievable, pretty, crazy deep mountain trail. Like I finally feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere, which makes me real happy. So definitely blessed to be here. That's how I'm feeling today. Yeah, word on Vermont mud this time of year. The worst mud in Vermont is actually in New Hampshire. So we're into July, and I think the mud season in Vermont is in like June, or it ends in June, from what I saw on Instagram this season. And then we're catching the back end of it right now in New Hampshire, but there's been a lot of mud, like way more mud than what was in Vermont. Look at this. We'll go right into a bog. This is going to be tricky. You can tell, see how it's wet right there? That's not good. I'm going to turn this thing off because I don't want to get it all muddy. Here's where the bog got us. Look at this. Look at this. It's crazy. I don't know where the trail goes. I guess it goes straight ahead.
It's pretty. I just don't know the best place to stand off for you. I was a little taller. Yeah.
Some nice views up there
Good.
from both peaks.
Makes it worth it, right?
Yep.
That's what they say.
And action.
What do you think? It's like 1,000 people to finish, right?
It's like 25%.
And I think like 4,000 or
25 is high.
I don't know.
I really do.
Less than 1,000.
Oh, there it is. I was 372,
Okay.
and I started
What
off.
was the
There, and I don't think they come down at night. I think they just stay up, and I think they just stay up there and just
hang out?
yeah.
Where's that film at? 4K?
Yeah, it's 4K,
These crazy
25. It's 4K. Oh, let's go over here and check this out. It's 4K and
25
25 frames on their auto settings. I could set it up for like some photographer settings for 24.
Yeah.